So I do want to say thank you to everyone so much for joining us today. I'm Rhonda Rush, Director of Operations here at Nomerel, and we are a managed IT provider based in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we work with small and mid-sized businesses to help them get the most of their technology. And part of that effort is our periodic webinars that we do for our customers and anyone who wants to join us. These are not restricted to anyone in particular. We just want to share the knowledge and transfer a little bit of information, and hopefully you'll find something interesting. And if we can help you out along the way, we would be happy to do this. Part of it, our topic today is get an hour of your day back with AI. We hope you find that this is a realistic result using AI in your everyday process. Most of us spend a surprising amount of time on repetitive tasks that have to get done but don't necessarily need our full attention. So today we'll explore some practical ways that AI can help with those and give you more time to focus on your customers, your team, and the work that creates the most value. If we do our job right today, you'll leave with at least one task you can hand off to AI this week and never have to do it manually again. So that is real time back in your day, starting now. Here's a quick overview of what we'll be covering today. We'll start by looking at the hidden cost of routine tasks, those little things that only take a few minutes here and there, but add up to hours lost every week across your team. Then we'll explore the 3 most practical AI tools available today: Copilot, ChatGPT, and Power Automate. We'll talk about where each one shines and what they're best used for. Also, how they can help eliminate that repetitive work from your day. We'll spend some time on prompting. Actually, that one has been moved to the top of my list today because having access to AI is the one thing, but knowing how to communicate with AI effectively is what really unlocks the value of your AI tools. And a few small changes in how you ask your questions can dramatically improve the results you get back. Of course, throughout the presentation, we'll look at everyone's favorite part, examples and demonstrations. Instead of just talking about what these tools can do, we plan to show you real examples, real workflows, real-time saving opportunities and actions so you can decide how they would best fit in your organization. As we go, I want you to keep the chat open, drop in any questions as we go. Faith is going to keep an eye on those, and we'll do our best to answer those questions throughout the session. With that, let's go ahead and dive in. So I told you prompts were my favorite, and I was moving them to the front. So this slide, in my opinion, might be the most single useful thing you take from today's session. But that doesn't mean you can just, log off and leave me as soon as we finish this one, or you get a screenshot. We are going to be sending these out to you. There's going to be other good information as well. But knowing which AI tool is only part of the equation. The strength behind AI is how you talk to it. A good prompt is learned over time. When you find a good prompt, you are encouraged to save it and share it with your team. Most people either don't know how to prompt or learn through trial and error. And hopefully these 5 points on this slide are going to short circuit that process for you. So the 5 things you need: a specific goal. Don't just say, write me an email. Say, write a follow-up email to a client who hasn't responded to our proposal in 2 weeks. Use a professional but warm tone. You give it the context. The more background you provide, the better the output. Tell it who you are, who you're writing to, what the situation is, and then ask for the format. Do you want bullet points? Do you want a numbered list? 3 short paragraphs? You're going to tell AI those things. And you're going to set the length and tone. Do you want it short and direct? Do you want it detailed and formal, friendly and casual? You're going to be specific about these things. And the one that people a lot of times just miss is the refine rather than restart. Don't, keep asking it to do better. Review what it gives you, ask it to do better. Don't start over. Just say, okay, make this shorter. Can you use a less formal tone here in this paragraph or for this selection? Please change it so it says more of this. If you take nothing else from today, take these 5 rules, post them somewhere in your office. They work across every AI tool that's out there. So now is where the class participation begins, because what I would love to do is have everybody jump into the chat and type one of these items on this screen that you deal with every day and would love to hand off to AI. If you don't see your one big thing, add that to the chat as well, or instead of what we have here. And basically, the 4 choices that we've provided you are, what would you automate? Drafting the same email over and over again, chasing approvals manually, retyping data between systems, sending follow-up reminders, any and everything that you want. Let's go ahead and put those into the chat. And while you're doing that or thinking up what I didn't list here, I want to tell you how AI has kind of helped me. Because before Copilot, I had a workaround for writing the same emails over and over again. And I used email signatures in Outlook. So it was not just one signature that I had. It's like, you hover over the email signatures and the entire page was filled with them. And I still have them actually, because I can't seem to part with them, but it's my way of automating. So I built a saved signature for recurring scenarios. Here's the onboarding info you requested. Your request is in review. Here's what happens next. Weekly status nudges. Thank you for meeting. Here are our next steps. Here are the action items. I even have one for new employees starting and coming into the office. Here are your directions to the office from this landmark or that landmark. And here's what to expect on your first day, dress code, all of those things are just all in an email signature. So all I have to do is, as part of my routine, is open a new message, click signature, scroll the list, pick the appropriate signature, and then maybe spend 5 minutes tweaking it or editing it. It worked in the sense that it was faster than starting from a blank message every time. I got the same information conveyed every time, but it was not automation. And it still doesn't count as automation. It's just me being my own template engine and keeping those things to myself. So that's the kind of task that's worth handing off. So none of these tasks really require my expertise. It's just that I know when it's time for them to be done, or I was the one in the meeting. So I just needed to make sure that the email got sent. It doesn't require my judgment, not necessarily my relationship status or anything of that nature. It's just, it requires my time or somebody else's time. If I had an assistant, they could do it for me. So that's my story. I'm still having a little trouble getting away from it, but I'm learning. Faith, what do you have any
Yeah.
responses out there?
Yes, we're getting some good feedback. Misty said sending follow-up reminders. Mark said prioritizing and creating tasks in the hundreds of emails he receives in a day. Jerry chasing status responses to my requests. And then Katie said creating tasks from emails and Teams chats, which I like that one. Yeah.
Those are really good ones.
Yeah,
So
really good.
they all feel like super busy work because they are, but a lot of times you just have so much information coming at you at once, so you really don't know where to start. Copilot can help you with that for sure. It sounds like a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about today. The good news is these are the exact kinds of things that AI is going to help us handle. So 5 plus. This is the number that comes from teams who've rolled out Microsoft 365 Copilot, stating that they have saved 5 or more hours per person per week. Think about what that means for your business. If you have a team of 5 people and each of them get back 5 hours a week, basically an hour a day. That's 25 hours a week your team gets back. It's another part-time person. And what would you do with that much productive time every week? Just because you took the time up front and put together or implemented an AI tool to help you with these different things. So let me ask this and put your responses in the chat again. What would you do with 5 or more hours a week? What project would you finally be able to make progress on, or what client would you call? Faith, what would you do with that time?
Yeah, I think I would spend more time building my videography business, but I would also spend that time just being outside.
That touching grass time and that mental
Yes.
time of not always being under pressure is also a very important reason on why getting these tools in place can help out a lot. Give you a little bit of mental downtime, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Any ideas in the chat? I'm not seeing it if there are.
No, we haven't gotten
Okay.
any from. Oh, some people are typing.
Okay.
Sherry and Mark. Plenty of ways to spend that extra time, I think.
Oh yeah, lots of them. So while people are typing, I'm going to just talk about the three tools that we're going to focus on today, because they all have one thing in common. They're designed to take that repetitive, time-consuming work off your plate, but each one has a little different approach. So that's why I'm going to dive into each one just a little bit. Copilot is built directly into the Microsoft tools that you already use every day. So Outlook, Teams, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. If your business is using Microsoft for email, there's a good chance you're either already have Copilot included in your tool set, or you might be a license upgrade away from it. ChatGPT, I have a little soapbox that I do stand on when I talk about ChatGPT, because it's a good tool. It's flexible. It's a good writing and thinking partner, and it works in any browser. There's no special setup. You don't need a special Microsoft license, but use it with caution. This is what you'll hear a lot is an LLM. It's called a learning language model, meaning it's taking what you tell it and applying it to any other prompt and any other request made of that engine around the world. So my rule of thumb is don't enter confidential information, personal information, anything private in here unless you want someone to be able to see it on Reddit or want it to come up when they Google something about your company or your organization or whatever you've put in there. So just be careful with that, because you can't take it back out. There's no way to ever have it pulled down once you put it out there. Power Automate is one that runs in the background on its own without you ever having to touch it again once you've set it up. So this one, I love workflows and anything that will take a trigger and run and do everything on my decision tree for me. That's what Power Automate does. So let's take a look at each one. Faith, anything come up on there? Any good ideas on what to do with
Yes.
our time?
Mark said sipping a margarita, which I love that. And then Sherry said I would definitely find more proposals to work on. A
That
little
sounds like Sherry.
work and play.
Yeah. And if it's a marketing proposal, the margarita helps because you get more creative. So you never know.
Exactly.
So let's take a look at Copilot. This is not necessarily a new software that you need. It should already be in your Microsoft subscription. There's what we call a free version of Copilot, and then there's a paid upgraded version of Copilot. The prompts that you put in with your free version, you will be limited to the number of prompts or the number of questions you can ask, or the amount of time that you can have it do research and stuff like that per period. But those are details that really don't hit a lot of people too hard. The first thing is it lives in those apps that you open every day. You don't have to convince your IT department or anybody in your organization whether or not to adopt it. It's already there. it's very helpful. It can, like Mark said, he had the idea about summarizing the long email threads and prioritizing and creating a task list. So in Outlook, you can do this. You can just ask Copilot to summarize this email thread, draft a reply for me instead of reading through, all of these emails that you missed in the last hour while you were in a meeting. You can just ask Copilot, give me an executive summary of this email and tell me what action items, where does the ball sit, whose court is the ball in, type thing. And it will actually give you the answers of next step is X and next step is Faith calling Mark, that type of thing. You can ask for the summary to be in bullet points, executive summary with action items, whatever you want. You ask it. In Teams, it's going to recap your meetings, pull out action items. So the people in your meeting can actually focus on the meeting and let Copilot be taking the notes and giving you back all of your action items when the meeting is over. Word, drafts and rewrites on demand. Faith and I do this a lot. Faith will work on a blog for our postings and send it to me for review. And my reviews have gotten a lot faster because I'm not looking for grammar anymore. I just tell Copilot, hey, review this blog for grammar and content and this and that and these other things that I'm looking for. And then it will take me through, and I'm pretty confident that the grammar is going to be good. Now, here's the thing. It's an assistant. It's not, an autopilot. So you do have to still review everything and want to make sure that you read and reread the final draft before you push it out to the entire world.
And I think this has been a tool that has definitely increased workflow for both of us, that we use a lot with it.
It has, it's helped our workflow.
Yeah,
because
helped the
I can
workflow.
get back
Yeah.
to you faster because I can open it up and say, okay, start my review while I finish doing this, and then I can come back to it. So
Mhm.
it helps me get back to you faster, and that way you can get your items out in a timely fashion as long as I start the process in a timely fashion, right? In Excel, it's going to build your formulas from plain English. You don't have to know formulas. You don't have to go out to YouTube or Google or any of those things and ask for the formulas. You don't have to hunt for answers in the middle of the workday. So everything is already in there. Let's keep going with this. Let's see Copilot actually working. Let me see. Okay, so here is a screenshot from one of my emails. Because things get a little crazy, I try to just do some screenshots when we're dealing with Outlook. But anywhere that you see this little icon, that little rainbow colored, almost a recycle type Copilot icon, you can hover over that and get these simple prompts that will give you some starting off points, or you can click on that and it'll open a flyout window to the side of your email. And then you can go into full AI mode with putting in a full prompt, right? Remember, your response is going to be as good as your prompt. So if you're saying, write a response to this email, that's not good enough. You want to say, write a brief, friendly response to this customer requesting a short phone call to review their current user list. Something that you want to do on that. Excuse me.
No, so something that Mark just put in the chat, which I think is important. You've talked about this before, Rhonda. Just wanted to make sure we call out this point that Copilot stays within your tenant and is not in learning mode like other AI models, which I think you're talking about this a bit later in the presentation, but that's a great point to bring up.
No, this is true because Outlook, our Copilot, because it is part of your Microsoft tool set, it is going to stay inside the guardrails and the security that's already been set up for your file access and your email access and those types of things within the Microsoft environment. So if you don't have access to a particular file or something of that nature, you're not going to be able to get that information back if you were to ask Copilot for it. So it's just going to stay within what you're supposed to be able to see. So pretend you had blinders on or guardrails. My favorite thing is when we go bowling, we always have the gutter guards come up so that I can bowl and actually hit a pin. So that's what it is. You've got your
I
gutter
love that.
guards up, so it'll keep Copilot on the straight and narrow. Now, if you see that there is a little, something maybe a little wonky, then it sounds like we might have some security issues that need to be addressed within the organization. Once those are addressed, then everything is exactly as intended. Good point. So let's talk about teams and team meeting recaps. I've got a couple of screenshots here. The one out front is from just coming into the team meeting recap. So we have every day the tech team gets online and they've got a team scrum that they do. And so if you go into Teams, then you go into the team calendar. And of course, the organizer would need to, allow you to have the notes shared with you or what have you. But you should be able to click on that calendar meeting on your calendar in Teams, and this would pop up. Oops, I was trying to point at it using the wrong thing. But this meeting would pop up and it would say view the recap. And when you do, this big window behind here also opens up. So in the instance of the one we have, you've got a meeting recording where you could actually listen to the conversation. You could look at the AI summary. You've got the meeting notes down here, all the notes and action items I've already blurred out to protect the innocent. You can see the attendance. You can expand these meeting notes. So it will start with giving you just summaries of each section. When you expand it, it'll tell you even more detail bullet pointed underneath each one of those items. Works really great because if I miss a meeting, then I can come back and catch up on where we are. This was great because I could see where my team was talking about, okay, we have this customer that's having this issue. Everybody needs to know about it. This is how we're going to address it. Make sure that everybody knows. Let's get the notes put into our knowledge base and all of that. And we do that for each customer that has some specific items that are happening. And this way we can track it through and keep it in the knowledge base. So,
and I feel like that's such a great feature because most of these AI note takers, it has to be something external that you add to the meeting, but for it to just be built into Teams, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, already built in. You don't need anything special for it. I think we have some people on the call even that have started using it and done away with those external ones because they're not as secure.
Yeah, wouldn't
So,
think about that.
yeah. You know what? Before I go to ChatGPT, let me see because I lost my little tabs here. Give me just a minute, guys, and see if I can. There it is. I know it's back there. Magical. Let's look at, okay, your other basic tool sets within Microsoft. This is a Word doc. Now we're looking at the browser version of Word, but if you can see it, that's too small. This may be better. There is a Copilot prompt down here in the bottom right-hand corner of my screen. And when I hover over it, it gives me some sample prompts. But if I were to click that, again, my flyout window opens. And so here I'd already picked one of their prompts that they had. So out of this list of prompts that came up, I chose the one that said create a meeting agenda with topics. And when I picked that one, where is it? This one. Now, if you look at everything that popped up below, it pulls up all of my meetings that are on my calendar. And it's wanting me to see what I'm doing next, what kinds of things are happening and which meeting do I want to prompt that for. So
I love that.
any thoughts, ideas? It's
amazing. I love that.
It's
I didn't realize it
so
connected straight into your calendar and everything else. I think so. One thing that you kind of mentioned a minute ago was if you're, well, you actually didn't mention this, but you mentioned this on our previous webinar that we had back in March about Copilot, about when you're using Copilot in Word specifically, it has to be from the browser version to be able to access it. Is that correct? If you're working from a Mac?
no, it doesn't. That that's not 100% true.
Okay.
So you can use your desktop application. What it wants to do is to have it as a real file before you are able to use the Copilot app. And the reason, let me show you this. So if I say I'm going to open a desktop right here. So this is Word in my desktop application. This
Okay.
autosave needs to be turned on. I think
Turned
this may be what
on.
you're thinking of. If this
Mm,
autosave is turned on in your app, then you'll be able to see the Copilot down on this
okay.
option down on there. If this autosave is not turned on, then the Copilot option does not show up. And I just lied, but it it definitely makes a difference with files that you've been working on. And
Okay. Okay. Sherry just asked a question. Does it connect to the calendar on the non-online version? Which is a good question. I'm not sure.
yes,
Yes. Okay.
yes, yes, it does. Because in order to use your desktop version of Word or whatever other tool you're using, you have to be signed into your account that's associated with your email address that has that tool on it. So I hope that makes sense. The other thing is, and these are just super high level, but because, again, the examples are infinite. But let's say this is an Excel worksheet, and I'm doing these all in the browser versions because it's easier for me to share it in this webinar. But you can see I just added calendar dates right here in column A. And well, it looks like it's mad at me again. This one is one of those that throws a little hissy fit when I'm doing a presentation. So I'm going to do it again, create a new workbook. Every time I leave it, it takes my Copilot away in this particular instance. So let's see if it's gonna, I'm waiting for it to pop up somewhere. Sorry, guys. There we go. I thought it was gonna work there and it just didn't want to. So let's do it here. So we'll do 8/1/26. And let's make that a little bigger so everybody can see it. And we're gonna just flash fill that down, and I'm gonna hit this cell B1, and I'm gonna go to Copilot. And this is where you can just ask, and I've done this one. Some of you may have seen me do it before, but it's one of my favorites because it's one that I use a lot. And I can never remember the formula, which I should be able to remember it, but now I don't have to, so I'm sure I never will. But I can just say, enter the formula for the 3-letter day of the week in B1 in relation to the date in A1. And then I tell it to go, and it's going to do its little thinking, and it's going to come back and it's going to go ahead and just put the formula in there because I told it to. It'll give me some examples of formulas down the screen on the side. So it says, here's what I entered. And it says Saturday. Okay, great. So now that it's entered it, and look, it's a little rainbow colored too, just like, so Copilot did this, right? And
I
so
love that.
now I can flash fill that, and it puts in all of my days of the week all the way down. So today is the 26th. It's wrong. Of course it is. Oh, no, it's right. I was thinking today was Thursday.
No, it is.
It's
That is
right.
right.
It's right. Yay. That makes me happy. So it worked just like it's supposed to. But yeah, so that's just a real quick and dirty way of looking at how to do things in formulas inside Excel. So, any feedback, any questions on anything in Excel, anything I should be doing in here to help anyone else? I mean, these are just super simple, but I think they help.
Yeah, I think this is really helpful.
For me, the biggest part of AI is the jumping off point. Where do I
Yes.
start? What do I do? The prompts, where is it? How do I get to it? Those types of things. So let's talk ChatGPT. Moving on to ChatGPT, you can just open up a browser tab and start using it immediately. Again, there's no licenses required, no IT setup, no onboarding process. However, you do need to pay attention to your company's AI use policy. Some companies will say, no, you can't use this. Some companies will go as far as having this blocked on their browsers, as well as some of the others. Just depends on your organization and what is allowed. So it's your flexible AI writing partner. This one is really good about drafting those emails, those things that you're not comfortable with, or things you just don't know what starting point to have. I want to do this, but I don't really know where to start. And I just start rambling and talking to ChatGPT and telling them, here's what I want to do, create something for me. And so it will create the agenda from scratch. It'll create a proposal outline from scratch. I want to create a template for all proposals that come out from Nomerel. It'll create something and then we'll refine it as we go on. The key is knowing how to ask for what you need. So, yes, you can put in long documents and it will summarize those for you. But if you've got those documents in your regular file folder, then you can use Copilot to help you with that. So, let's look at creating a proposal in ChatGPT. So I've been in here already. And a couple of things about ChatGPT. Actually, before I start with this, or I'll come back to it, you want to open your browser. And I usually just go to Google and search for ChatGPT. So if we go out here and we just search for ChatGPT, and I know this seems really silly, but there are a lot of things that could come up. So you want to make sure that you're going to the real one. Fortunately for me, I have a sponsored result and the real one immediately after. So you can just drill down on either one of those and end up at a sign-in page. And when you get to the sign-in page, I would encourage you, if you're going to use this as a regular tool, go ahead and sign into the free account. Just do not put anything into that free chat engine that you don't want to see on the World Wide Web, good or bad. So once you've signed in, then you have a list of any of your past prompts down the side. You also have access to some additional tools and things. We were working with an agency that provided us with certain plugins that we could use, right, Faith? And they made our world so much bigger. So that was pretty interesting. What I've done here is I just put in the plain, boring, create a proposal outline request, which is what's up here in the corner. And hopefully, is that big enough? Can you see it?
Yes, yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So you can edit this, you can copy it and paste it into a Word doc, whatever. But this is just a basic, generic proposal outline. Yay. Goals and objectives, scope of work, all of that, just very generic stuff. Okay, so following this, I went a little crazy and I put in a misspelled. I'm going to say it was on purpose, but it wasn't because I just don't type well. But it says create a proposal outline for an AI implementation project for a company that has shadow AI in their environment. Be sure to include remediation of the current shadow IT and include a full security review with proposed changes. So I'm giving it the information that I think it's going to need to give me what I want. And then here's what we get. And I'm always really nice to all of my AI tools. I always say thank you and can you and would you, because at some point they're going to be telling people how I have interacted with them and I want them to be happy with me. And I do believe it will pay off in the end. But this is my more precise outline for my project. It's a bigger project. It goes through the full proposal outline. The last one, I think, ended on like 13 points. This one has subpoints, deliverables, full assessments. What are our risks? What do we need to be looking for? Remediation programs. Again, points and subpoints. Keeps going through any security review that we wanted to do. I asked it for much longer, much more detailed. Now I can go in there and I can take this, I can copy it, put it into a Word doc or an Excel, which I love to use Excel for these things because then I can put formulas on the backside and all kinds of fun stuff. But you can then start taking out things that don't apply to your particular situation. But you have this forever. So you can come back to this proposal outline. You can pin it to the beginning of the list. You can edit it, share it, rename it, whatever you want to do with that so that you have it available to you for future. What do you think? Here is my instructions. So I think I did mention that we are going to be sending this out, eventually for you guys to have and be able to rewatch it. You've got the instructions right here. So you can screenshot them, how to get there and what to do for that. Any thoughts? So here's my before and after thoughts on the client proposals. Before, you had 3 hours per proposal. Once you've created your prompt or your template for your proposal, then you are no longer starting from scratch and you have a solid first draft if you're just starting with your prompts and then you refine it, or you have a template if you've already created that AI prompt and can come back and refine it for your specific scenario. So you can always take that prompt, copy it, and start a new scenario for a new client or a new project if you wanted to, and let AI go through and do the first draft of it for you for that new project or proposal that you're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Mark just said you can ask ChatGPT what type of information not to include to maintain privacy, which that's a good thing to note.
I love that ChatGPT will actually tell you this as well, right?
Ah.
They will come back and say, okay, what kinds of things should I not tell you so that I can
Hmm.
remain? But to save that 2.5 hours of proposal time seems nice. So Power Automate. This is our third AI tool. It's a little different from the first two in that it runs in the background. Copilot and ChatGPT still keep you in the loop because you have to prompt them, you review the output, you're making decisions kind of with it throughout the process. They're like the assistant that comes in and asks, clarifying questions throughout or what have you. Power Automate is one where you actually set it up and it runs completely on its own. So here's how it works. Every automation has 3 parts. It has a trigger, an action, and a result. And so when something happens, then the response to that action happens. And then you get that result, which I've done this. To me, Power Automate is workflows. That's my common everyday word for it. So you can set up a workflow that can actually kick off another workflow with its result. So if you're thinking of things that have decision trees and things of that nature, you can set up these workflows once and it runs the same every single time. So this is what we're using as the ground in our ticketing system that we have. We can say if a ticket comes in and it says this, then set it to this, that, and the other. So if it says that, we have an alert on a server offline, then it sends the priority to a critical and it assigns it to the server team. So we can reach out and we can start talking to the customer about it. Power Automate is going to do these same types of things. You set it up once, it runs every single time the exact same way every time. It's following a decision tree and nobody has to prompt it or trigger it. It's that thing that happens. So somebody submits a form, that form is grabbed and the action is taken. Either a report is run or a task is created or a record gets updated, and then it can send a team notification or it can do whatever you ask. It really is a set it and forget it. My biggest tip for this is that you definitely want to name it so that it makes sense, so that when things are happening and you think, uh-oh, I didn't account for this when I set up that workflow with Power Automate, you can go back and find it and tweak it just a little bit if you need to. So with Power Automate, there's really not a lot that we can walk through together without doing a full-on training session in the back end of Microsoft. So the thing that I like to look at is a good example would be an appointment reminder. I can't remember who said this. I think it may have been Misty, but appointment reminders and other reminders are a very big reason to use Power Automate. And in this example, we have a doctor's office or a medical practice where the staff just pick up the phone and call every patient. They spend 2 hours every morning doing this to send out reminders to the patients that they have an appointment coming up. Instead, if you put Power Automate in place, that 2 hours that your staff is doing every morning to make all of those reminder phone calls, Power Automate's already doing that. And so you can actually start seeing patients earlier in the day, or you can use those people to help cover more patients. The appointment reminders, they just send themselves automatically. And once you get going where you're doing them automatically, you can be even more efficient with it, because you could have one reminder go out 48 hours before the appointment and another go out 24 hours before the appointment. It's basically the same setup. You're just telling it when to do it. And now you're doubly sure that those people who've confirmed are definitely going to be there. 2 hours a day back on the table, 10 hours a month that staff can spend on patient care, documentation, getting ahead, just whatever else they need to do. Excuse me, drinking margaritas. You never know.
Yeah, definitely.
Taking off work at the time they thought they were that day. That's important. So this week, I'm going to use a phrase from my 3rd grade teacher. Now, class, here's your homework. It's important because you are motivated now. So I want you to make an appointment with yourself to do the following. Pick one task you repeat each day. Don't say I'm going to do this with everything. Just pick one. A specific recurring task that you have to do the same every time. Write one prompt for it. Use the 5-step framework that was on and give it one try. See what comes back. If you want help identifying which daily tasks would be best for your automation needs, then that's what we do. Give us a call, holler at me. We'll have a conversation and we'll see where AI could help you. We'll find out where your biggest pain points are. We're going to be sharing a replay of this session with your team, or with you, so you can share it with your team. And maybe they would give it a try as well. Small and specific beats ambitious and abandoned every time. So put in the chat the one big thing, recurring task that you would like to automate this week. Kind of gives everybody a chance to say, oh yeah, and it gets the wheels turning. And of course, We'll do a readiness review with you or any of the non-technical train your non-technical staff. We can help you with the Power Automate setups, those types of things. You can get an IT assessment, and we are at the end. So thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it. If there are any questions or anything in the chat, we can wrap up with some ending discussions. Otherwise, I want to say thank you for everyone giving us part of their day. And hopefully this time you spent with us was productive enough that you will save an hour or two a day later on.
Okay, Katie says thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much. It's been super helpful. I feel like I've gotten a lot out of this too.
I love it. Well, we appreciate everybody coming, and we are gonna shut her down.
Thank you all.